In life, not everything deserves your energy. Not every insult needs a reply. Not every situation requires your reaction. Sometimes, true strength lies in silence, in choosing not to react when everything inside you wants to. Think about it. How many times have we reacted in anger, frustration, or pain, only to regret it later? One small moment of reaction can damage relationships, steal our peace, and shift our whole mood. But when you learn to pause, breathe, and hold your power, you rise above the noise. Not reacting doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise. It means you're in control of yourself, not being controlled by others. It means you've learned to protect your peace, and that's real power. The most successful and emotionally mature people in the world aren't the loudest. They're the calmest in chaos. They think before they respond. They know that every reaction is a choice, and they choose wisely. In this video, we'll explore 9 deep lessons that will teach you the true power of not reacting. If you want to grow stronger, calmer, and more in control, this is your moment. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Pause before you react. The space that changes everything. Have you ever wondered how different your life could be if you simply paused before reacting? Just think about that for a second. How many moments of regret, arguments, misunderstandings, and emotional outbursts could have been avoided if you had just taken a short pause? One deep breath. One short moment of silence. That's all it takes to protect your peace, your relationships, and your self-respect. But most people don't pause. They react instantly, emotionally, impulsively, and sometimes destructively. And later, they sit with the weight of regret, thinking, "Why did I say that? Why did I act like that?" So, ask yourself this powerful question. What would happen if you trained your mind to pause before you react? That tiny space between stimulus and response, that pause, is where all your power lives. It's where you can choose peace over chaos, wisdom over impulse, and strength over weakness. When someone insults you, criticizes you, or says something that hurts your ego, your instinct might be to strike back. But reacting without thinking never leads to growth. It only feeds your emotions and inflames the situation. In contrast, when you take a pause, you give yourself time to observe instead of absorb. You gain clarity. You give your emotions a moment to cool down. You protect yourself from doing or saying something you'll regret later. This doesn't mean you should remain silent forever or ignore your feelings. It simply means you don't act while your emotions are in control. Emotions are like waves. They rise and fall. But your reaction becomes permanent. That's why mastering the pause is a powerful emotional skill. It shows maturity. It shows self-awareness. And most importantly, it shows that you value your inner peace more than winning an argument. Imagine a situation where someone raises their voice at you. Your ego immediately tells you to fight back. But if you take a deep breath, stay quiet for a moment, and just observe, you'll notice something incredible. The other person begins to lose their power. Why? Because they were expecting a fight. But instead, your calmness confuses them. Your silence speaks louder than any loud reaction ever could. It shows that you are in control of yourself. And in today's reactive world, that's rare. That's powerful. Learning to pause before reacting also helps you respond with intention. Reactions are immediate and emotional. Responses are thoughtful and measured. When you pause, you can ask yourself, maybe instead of defending yourself, you choose to smile and stay silent. Maybe instead of speaking from anger, you speak from understanding. That's how emotionally strong people live, not by reacting, but by responding with purpose. And don't be fooled, it takes real strength to pause. It's not easy to remain calm when your heart is racing and your emotions are on fire. But every time you choose not to react, you are rewiring your brain. You're building emotional discipline. You're breaking the habit of knee-jerk reactions and replacing it with mindful control. Over time, this changes your personality. You become calmer, more balanced, more respected, and deeply centered within yourself. Ask yourself right now, when was the last time I reacted too fast and wished I hadn't? Reflect on that moment. What would have happened if you had just paused? The outcome would have been so different, right? That's the power we often overlook, the power to just wait, just breathe, just stop for a moment. In that stillness, you see the bigger picture. You remember your values. You realize that not everything needs your reaction. Some things just need your silence and self-control. So from today, make a promise to yourself. The next time something upsets you, take one breath before you do anything. Let that breath become your best friend. Let it create space in your mind for better thoughts, wiser choices, and peaceful actions. Because the pause isn't weakness, it's wisdom. And wisdom is what keeps you grounded when the world tries to shake you. In the end, not reacting doesn't mean you're not feeling. It means you've mastered the art of feeling everything and still choosing peace. And once you develop that power, the power to pause, you'll find yourself living a life that's calmer, stronger, and far more in your control. That's the beginning of real freedom. Lesson 2. Ignore the invitation to argue. Life will always test your patience. People will push your buttons, say things to provoke you, and sometimes even drag you into situations that serve no purpose other than stealing your peace. But here's a truth you need to remember. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every comment deserves your reply. And not every insult needs your attention. The moment you realize this, you start protecting your energy instead of wasting it. Think about how often people get pulled into unnecessary drama. One small disagreement turns into a war of words. A misunderstood text becomes a 3-day Cold War. Someone's negative opinion ruins an entire day. But why give so much power to things that don't really matter in the long run? Why let someone else's words or behavior control your mood, your focus, or your peace? That's what happens when you accept every invitation to argue. You hand over your power, little by little. Let's be honest, many arguments are not about truth or understanding. They're about ego. Who's right? Who's louder? Who wins? And even when you win an argument, you often lose something more valuable, your peace, your dignity, your time. So here's the better choice. Walk away. Not in defeat, but in wisdom. Walk away because you know your energy is too precious to waste on meaningless noise. Some people thrive on negativity. They feed off your reactions. They poke and provoke just to see you break. But when you refuse to engage, when you smile and stay silent, you rob them of the very power they crave. You show them that you are not available for emotional games. You rise above, and they sink into their own chaos. That's how powerful not reacting can be. Have you ever been in a situation where someone tried to argue with you, but you stayed calm, and later felt proud of yourself? That's the feeling of emotional mastery. It's the moment you choose maturity over ego. The moment you realize that not reacting isn't losing, it's winning silently. And that silent win brings far more satisfaction than shouting ever could. This doesn't mean you should always walk away or never stand up for yourself. Of course, there are moments when you need to speak up, set boundaries, or defend your truth. But even then, you can do it with calmness. You can do it without yelling, without attacking, without getting emotionally pulled into the storm. The key is to respond, not react. Responding is thoughtful. Reacting is emotional. You see, the world expects you to react. That's the pattern. Someone disrespects you, you react. Someone disagrees, you argue. Someone offends you, you shout. But when you break that pattern, when you step away from the emotional trap, you surprise everyone, including yourself. You start to see how much more peaceful life becomes when you don't jump into every fire someone tries to drag you into. Ask yourself this: is this argument going to matter in 5 hours, 5 days, or 5 years? Most of the time, the answer is no. It's just ego, just emotion, just noise. And it's not worth your time. Your time is better spent on things that grow you, your goals, your peace, your dreams. So, the next time someone tries to pull you into a fight, remember this lesson. You have the power to decline the invitation. Not with anger, not with sarcasm, but with silence, calm, and a quiet smile. That's real power. That's real self-respect. And in that moment, when you choose peace over drama, you become untouchable. You become someone who doesn't just react to life, but leads it. That's what true emotional strength looks like. And that's the kind of strength that builds a life you're proud of. Lesson 3. Control what you can, release what you can't. There's something deeply freeing about accepting that you can't control everything. You can't control people's opinions, their actions, their moods, or the words they choose to throw at you. You can't control the traffic, the weather, or the unexpected turns life takes. But there's one thing you can control: your reaction. And that, my friend, changes everything. Most of our stress doesn't come from the situation itself. It comes from our resistance to it. We get upset not just because someone said something rude, but because we replay it in our minds for hours. We feel hurt not just because things went wrong, but because we expected them to go differently. The moment you realize that your peace depends on what you focus on, not on what happens, is the moment you step into real power. Let's face it, people will disappoint you. Some will lie. Some will misunderstand you. Others may never appreciate you no matter how much good you do. And your first instinct may be to react, to defend, to prove something. But what if you chose something different? What if you decided, in that moment, to protect your energy instead of wasting it? What if you told yourself, I can't control them, but I can control how I respond? That mindset flips the whole story. Suddenly, you stop feeling like a victim of other people's chaos. You stop letting outside noise disturb your inner calm. You learn to observe instead of absorb. That's the secret. Observe what's happening, but don't absorb the negativity. You might notice someone trying to trigger you, but you don't give them what they want. You notice the pressure building up, but you choose to breathe through it instead of exploding. That's not weakness, that's self-mastery. You see, when you focus only on what's within your control, life becomes lighter. You don't carry the emotional baggage of trying to fix people or change every situation. You learn to say, this is not mine to carry. And when something truly is in your control, like your attitude, your behavior, your effort, you give it your best. That balance is powerful. It keeps you grounded even when the world around you is spinning. Think of it like this. Your mind is like a garden. You can choose what grows there. If you spend all your time watering weeds, complaints, drama, fears, that's what will take over. But if you focus on what you can actually nurture, your peace, your growth, your goals, then that's what will blossom. The power of not reacting comes from knowing what to water and what to walk away from. Ask yourself this: what am I trying to control right now that I really can't? Is it someone's opinion? Is it how someone treats you? Is it a past mistake? If it's outside your hands, let it go. Not because you don't care, but because your peace is more important than your need to control every detail. And don't get it twisted. Letting go isn't giving up. It's growing up. It's saying, I trust myself enough to handle what's mine and release what's not. It's understanding that peace isn't found in perfection. It's found in acceptance. Acceptance of what you can't change and confidence in what you can. So next time life throws something unexpected your way, someone disappoints you, plans fall apart, or emotions rise, pause and ask, is this within my control? If it is, take calm action. If it's not, take a deep breath and release it. That's how you protect your energy. That's how you keep your power. That's how you live with grace, no matter what comes your way. Lesson 4. Silence is a powerful response. In a noisy world where everyone wants to be heard, silence can be your greatest strength. Think about it. When someone insults you, mocks you, or tries to provoke you, the world expects a reaction, a comeback, a burst of anger. But what if, instead of reacting, you stay calm and silent? What if you chose not to give them what they were looking for? That silence in that moment becomes a response louder than any words could ever be. Silence isn't weakness. It's not avoidance. It's power. It's wisdom. It's self-control. Because silence means you're thinking. It means you've risen above the noise. It means you know your worth and don't need to prove it to anyone. Anyone can shout back. Anyone can argue. But it takes a strong, emotionally mature person to stay silent when their pride is challenged. Have you ever noticed how silence makes people uncomfortable? When you don't respond, people begin to question themselves. They wonder what you're thinking. They become unsure. And in that pause, in that unexpected quiet, you shift the energy completely. You take back control without lifting a finger or raising your voice. Silence gives you time to observe, to breathe, to choose your response with care. Maybe you'll decide the situation isn't worth your attention. Maybe you'll address it calmly later. Or maybe you'll realize it doesn't even deserve your energy at all. Either way, that moment of silence keeps you from reacting emotionally and instead allows you to respond with wisdom or walk away with dignity. There's an old saying, when you argue with a fool, people might not know who the real fool is. Sometimes silence is not only the smartest move, it's the most respectful one you can make for yourself. It shows you don't need validation. You don't need to win, because you've already won the moment you chose peace over pride. Now, that doesn't mean you let others walk all over you. Not at all. But there's a difference between silence out of fear and silence out of strength. One keeps you small. The other lifts you higher. True silence comes from knowing that not everything deserves your voice. Some things only deserve your silence and your peace. Ask yourself, how many times have I said something in anger that I later regretted? And how many problems could have been avoided if I had just stayed quiet for a few moments? You don't always need to defend yourself. Sometimes your calm silence will do the talking for you. And here's something beautiful. The more you practice silence, the more powerful you become. You begin to see how noise is often a sign of insecurity. How silence is a sign of deep confidence. You stop rushing to prove anything and start trusting your inner strength. And the more you trust yourself, the less you feel the need to react to everything around you. So the next time someone tries to pull you into their drama, take a breath, smile, and stay silent. Let your calmness speak. Let your silence protect your peace. Because not every situation needs a voice. Some just need your strength. And your silence? That might be the loudest, strongest answer of all. Lesson 5. Don't take it personally. One of the greatest ways to master the power of not reacting is to stop taking everything personally. Sounds simple, right? But in reality, this is one of the hardest lessons to learn. Why? Because we're emotional beings. We naturally connect people's words and actions to our sense of identity and worth. Someone ignores your message, you feel unimportant. Someone criticizes you, you feel attacked. Someone's in a bad mood, you assume it's something you did. But here's the truth, most of the time, it's not about you at all. People react from their own pain, their stress, their insecurities, their fears. And yet, we walk around taking everything to heart, carrying emotional wounds that were never ours to begin with. Imagine how much lighter you'd feel if you could finally stop taking everything so personally. Imagine the peace you'd gain if you understood that people's behavior is a reflection of them, not you. Let me ask you, how many times have you felt hurt, offended, or angry, only to later realize the other person didn't even mean to hurt you? They were just going through something. Or they spoke without thinking. Or maybe they didn't even notice how their words sounded. But in your mind, you made it about you. You created a whole story based on assumption. And that story triggered a reaction, one that cost you your calm. Taking things personally is like drinking poison someone else mixed. You end up hurting yourself over things that may have nothing to do with you. The mind is quick to create meanings that don't exist. She didn't reply because she doesn't respect me. He criticized me because he thinks I'm not good enough. They left me out because I'm not important. And suddenly your emotions spiral. Your heart feels heavy. And you start reacting not to what really happened, but to the story you built around it. But what if you could pause and ask yourself, is this really about me? More often than not, the answer is no. People are complex. They carry their own baggage. They react based on their past, their mindset, their mood, not your worth. Once you understand that, you start developing something powerful, emotional boundaries. You stop absorbing every comment. You stop letting every action affect your self-image. You create space between who you are and how people behave. Let's say someone speaks to you with anger or disrespect. Your old self might instantly react, defend, argue, explain. But your wiser self knows that their tone is not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of what they're going through. So instead of reacting, you observe. You stay calm. You hold your ground. And in doing so, you protect your peace. This shift in mindset takes time. But once you stop taking things personally, you begin to live with more freedom. You become less reactive, less emotional over little things. You stop needing constant approval. You stop assuming the worst. And you learn to trust yourself more. You start seeing people as human, flawed, emotional, inconsistent, just like you. And when someone says something hurtful, you no longer let it define you. You ask, is this my truth or their projection? That one question can save you from hours of emotional pain. Remember, not every comment needs to be corrected. Not every misunderstanding needs to be cleared up. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is let it go, not because you're avoiding it, but because it's simply not yours to carry. People will have opinions. They'll make assumptions. They'll project their pain. But you get to choose what enters your heart and what bounces off your shield of self-awareness. So the next time something stings, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, is this really about me? Detach from the noise. Return to your truth. Because once you stop taking things personally, your reactions lose their fire, your emotions find their calm, and your life starts to feel much lighter. This lesson doesn't just help you avoid conflict. It helps you build inner peace that no one can take away. And that, in the end, is what real strength looks like. Lesson 6. Master your emotions. Emotions are powerful. They color every experience we have and guide many of our decisions. But sometimes those emotions can feel like wild horses, pulling us in directions we don't want to go. When you react without control, emotions become the master, leading you to regret, conflict, and stress. The true power lies in mastering your emotions instead of letting them master you. Imagine a storm inside you, anger rising, frustration boiling, sadness creeping in. That storm demands immediate action. It shouts, say something, do something, react now. But if you jump in with the storm, you'll find yourself swept away, unable to think clearly or act wisely. You might lash out, say hurtful things, or make choices that harm your peace. That's what happens when emotions control you. But what if, instead of being controlled, you became the controller? What if you learned to notice the storm, to acknowledge it, but not let it dictate your actions? This doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or pretending everything is fine. It means giving yourself the grace to feel deeply while also developing the skill to respond thoughtfully. The first step in mastering emotions is awareness. Start paying attention to how your body reacts when emotions rise. Do you feel tension in your chest? Does your face get hot? Does your breath get shallow? Recognizing these signs is like spotting dark clouds before the rain. Once you see the signs, you can take action before the storm breaks. Next, practice breathing. Deep, slow breaths calm the nervous system and create space between feeling and reaction. When emotions run high, a few deep breaths can stop the automatic reaction chain and give you a moment to choose your next move. This simple practice is one of the most effective tools to regain control. Another important skill is reframing your thoughts. Often, emotions get triggered by the stories we tell ourselves. Maybe you think they did this to hurt me, or I'm being disrespected. But what if those stories aren't entirely true? What if you could challenge these thoughts and replace them with calmer, more balanced views? This doesn't mean ignoring your feelings, but seeing the situation more clearly, which helps reduce emotional overload. Remember, mastering your emotions also means giving yourself permission to pause. You don't have to react immediately. Sometimes walking away or waiting until you feel calmer is the best response. This pause protects your peace and prevents unnecessary conflict. Mastering emotions takes practice. It's normal to slip up sometimes and react in ways you wish you hadn't. But each time you catch yourself, each time you choose to pause, breathe, and rethink, you're building emotional strength. Over time, your reactions become less about immediate feelings and more about thoughtful choices. Ask yourself, how often do my emotions control my actions? What would change if I responded from calm instead of impulse? Reflect on moments when emotions took over. Could you have handled them differently? What can you do next time to stay grounded? When you master your emotions, you no longer live as a victim of circumstances. You become the captain of your ship, steering through rough seas with steady hands. Life will always bring challenges, but your response, calm, controlled, and intentional, will define your journey. This lesson is one of the most powerful steps on the path to not reacting. Because when you control your emotions, you protect your peace, improve your relationships, and grow stronger every day. And that's the kind of power everyone deserves to have. Lesson 7. Choose your battles wisely. Life is full of challenges, disagreements, and moments that test our patience. But one of the most valuable skills you can develop on your journey to mastering the power of not reacting is learning to choose your battles wisely. Not every fight is worth your time, energy, or peace. The ability to decide which conflicts deserve your attention and which ones are better left alone can save you from unnecessary stress, regret, and emotional exhaustion. Have you ever noticed how much energy people waste on petty arguments? Maybe it's a trivial disagreement with a coworker, a minor misunderstanding with a friend, or even a frustrating comment on social media. These small conflicts can quickly snowball into bigger problems if we react impulsively. But when you pause and ask yourself, is this worth it, you gain control over your response. You start to see clearly which battles will actually make a difference and which ones will just drain you. Choosing your battles wisely doesn't mean you avoid standing up for yourself or your values. It doesn't mean you become passive or let others walk all over you. Instead, it means being strategic and intentional with your energy. It means recognizing that sometimes silence or stepping away is the strongest response. It means understanding that not every challenge needs to be met with confrontation or defense. For example, imagine you're at work and a colleague makes a sarcastic remark that annoys you. Your first instinct might be to snap back and defend yourself. But ask yourself, will arguing with this person improve the situation? Will it help me achieve my goals or just create more tension? If the answer is no, then it's wiser to let it go and focus on what really matters. On the other hand, some battles do deserve your voice in action, like standing up against injustice, setting clear boundaries, or defending your values. The key is to differentiate between these important moments and the minor irritations that don't deserve your full attention. When you reserve your energy for meaningful conflicts, your voice becomes more powerful and your actions more effective. Choosing battles wisely also helps protect your mental and emotional health. Constantly reacting to every little provocation leads to burnout, frustration, and damaged relationships. But when you learn to prioritize, you maintain your calm and preserve your peace. You become someone who is respected not only for their strength, but for their wisdom and emotional intelligence. Ask yourself this question: is this issue important enough to risk my peace and focus? If it's not, let it go. If it is, prepare to engage with calmness and clarity rather than reaction and anger. This shift in mindset allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Remember, winning every argument isn't the goal. The real victory is in maintaining your inner peace and staying focused on what truly matters in your life. When you choose your battles wisely, you are not just reacting less, you are living smarter. In the end, mastering this lesson means you gain freedom. Freedom from unnecessary drama, from emotional exhaustion, and from being controlled by every trigger around you. You reclaim your power by deciding where to invest your energy and when to protect your peace. So, the next time you feel yourself getting ready to react, pause and reflect. Evaluate the importance of the situation. Decide if it's a battle worth fighting or a storm you can calmly let pass. Choosing your battles wisely is a cornerstone of the power of not reacting, a skill that will transform your life and bring you the peace and strength you deserve. Lesson 8. Practice forgiveness to free yourself. One of the most powerful tools in mastering the art of not reacting is learning to forgive, not just others, but yourself as well. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as letting someone off the hook or pretending that hurtful things never happened. But real forgiveness is much deeper. It is a conscious choice to release the heavy burden of anger, resentment, and pain so you can reclaim your peace and move forward with strength. When someone wrongs you, it's natural to feel hurt and angry. Those feelings can overwhelm you, leading to constant thoughts about the offense, bitterness, and even the desire for revenge. This cycle traps you in negative emotions, making it difficult to stay calm or avoid reacting in harmful ways. But forgiveness breaks that cycle. It frees you from the emotional chains that bind you to past pain. Think about it. Holding on to anger is like carrying a heavy backpack filled with rocks. Every time you replay the hurt, you add another rock. But forgiveness lets you put that backpack down. It doesn't mean forgetting or excusing what happened. It means choosing your own peace over holding on to pain. Forgiving someone is a gift you give yourself. It lightens your heart and clears your mind. When you forgive, you reduce the power others have over your emotions. You stop reacting out of hurt and start responding from a place of calm and wisdom. But forgiveness is not easy. It takes courage and practice. You might need time to heal before you can genuinely forgive. That's okay. Forgiveness is a process, not a one-time event. You can start small by choosing to forgive one small offense, one painful memory, or even your own mistakes. Forgiving yourself is equally important. Often, we are our own harshest critics. We replay our failures and shortcomings, reacting with self-blame or guilt. But just as you deserve forgiveness from others, you deserve it from yourself. Self-forgiveness frees you from inner turmoil and helps you grow stronger. Ask yourself, what pain am I holding on to that's keeping me stuck? What would happen if I chose to forgive and let go? Remember, forgiveness is for you, not for the person who hurt you. When you practice forgiveness, you gain emotional freedom. You stop reacting with anger or bitterness. Instead, you respond with compassion, understanding, and peace. This doesn't mean you allow toxic behavior to continue, but you choose not to carry its weight inside you. In moments of conflict, remind yourself of the power of forgiveness. When anger rises, instead of reacting immediately, think about releasing the burden through forgiveness. This mindset shifts your energy from being a victim of pain to being the master of your emotions. Over time, forgiveness becomes a habit that protects your peace. It strengthens your ability to not react impulsively, and forgiveness is not weakness. It is the ultimate strength. And that strength will carry you through any storm life brings your way. Lesson 9. Build patience to strengthen your peace. Patience is one of the most important yet often overlooked qualities when it comes to mastering the power of not reacting. In today's fast-paced world, we expect instant results, immediate responses, and quick fixes. But life rarely works that way. When things don't happen on our timeline or when people test our limits, impatience rises. And impatience often leads to reaction, impulsive words, frustration, or regretful actions. Developing patience is the key to staying calm, composed, and in control. Think about a time when you felt rushed or pressured. Maybe you were stuck in traffic, waiting for someone who was late, or facing a delay in something important. How did you feel? Most likely your emotions ran high, and you were tempted to react, maybe with anger, annoyance, or stress. But when you cultivate patience, you learn to pause and accept that some things simply take time. You learn to breathe through the discomfort instead of fighting it. Patience is not about giving up or settling for less. It's about trusting the process and believing that things will unfold as they should. It means understanding that not every moment demands immediate action or reaction. Sometimes, waiting and observing bring better clarity and results. Building patience also helps you develop empathy. When you're patient with others, with their mistakes, delays, or weaknesses, you reduce the chances of reacting harshly. You create space for kindness and understanding. This not only improves your relationships, but also protects your peace by reducing conflicts born from impatience. Ask yourself, how often do I react because I'm impatient? What would change if I chose to wait calmly instead? Reflect on moments when patience could have saved you from unnecessary stress or arguments. Use those memories as motivation to grow this vital skill. Patience is like a muscle. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. Start with small things. Wait calmly in line, listen fully before interrupting, or breathe deeply when faced with delays. Over time, these small acts build your overall capacity for patience in bigger life situations. Remember, patience doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or ignoring problems. It means responding with calmness and wisdom, even when the situation is challenging. It means understanding that not reacting immediately often leads to better decisions and more peaceful outcomes. In moments when your temper flares or frustration rises, remind yourself to pause and breathe. Say to yourself, "This moment will pass." This simple practice helps you stay grounded and prevents impulsive reactions that you might regret later. When you build patience, you become more resilient. You face life's ups and downs with grace and confidence. You protect your peace by not letting temporary discomfort turn into lasting turmoil. And you inspire others by showing strength through calm endurance. In conclusion, patience is more than just waiting. It's an active choice to stay peaceful and centered in the face of life's challenges. By cultivating patience, you unlock a deeper level of emotional control and set yourself free from the chains of reaction. This final lesson ties together all the others, showing that true power lies in calm, steady strength, no matter what life throws your way. Thank you for watching. Remember, mastering the power of not reacting is a journey that brings peace, strength, and control into your life. Practice these lessons daily and watch yourself grow into a calmer, wiser, and more confident person. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Mind Blowing Motive for more motivational content that uplifts and inspires you.